Kwity. He's going straight back. A spraying target is setting up. Goes deep into the right corner, deep downfield. Tucker Ferguson. Touchdown! The Giants have it. Tucker Ferguson deep in the end zone for a touchdown. And the Giants are out in front now, 41-24.
Well, hello. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. And welcome to the Gridiron. And before I get started, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone out there who's been watching my videos. Thank you. If you can maybe give this video a thumbs up, possibly leave a comment below, maybe even share this video. It would mean so much to me. But at least anyway, just thank you so much for just taking time out of your day to check out this video. Thank you. Well, I seen this article. It was posted about we only had 51 guys on the roster. Usually it was a 53-man roster, you know, going into the game. Now, you only dress like 46 guys. I mean, you got a 53-man roster. You don't dress everybody and all. But, I mean, according to this article, you know, they kind of seem to make up maybe a little bit of a mountain out of a molehill a little bit. They were claiming that the article said that Dave Gettleman's potential final act as Giants GM is one for the record books. Now, I said what I'll do is I'll leave a link to the article below. You could check it out. But you know, it doesn't matter. I mean, the Giants. I mean, they only had 51 on their active roster, according to this article, instead of 53. I mean, the Giants were 4-12 going into the game against Washington football team. I mean, I mean, they seem to make a little bit of a mountain out of a molehill, but it was kind of amusing, a little amusing, you know, how this article was talking about it. Apparently they had, I think, 48 guys on the roster. They signed David Sills from the practice squad. Then they activated Alex Bachman and Brian Lewerke because they got to have two quarterbacks. So that brought up, those three guys, that brought the roster up from 48, brought it up to 51. Not 53, and Patricia Traina of Sports Illustrated pointed that out, that we only had the 51 guys. Now, it also says on the article, too, that the Giants only had $279,392 left in salary cap money. So, I mean, it seemed like, I don't know, who wrote this article, kind of seemed like they're like under the impression that we had 51 guys, not 53. Apparently, whoever wrote this article, I think, thought maybe it cost you $750,000 to bring a guy and put him on the active roster or something, and we only had 279. That's why we couldn't afford another two guys or something. But what I saw, anyway, was it only cost you like $36,000 to take a guy, play him, and, you know, put him on the roster. It's like a minimum salary for a week. It's $36,000. So I mean, we had plenty of money to bring up an extra couple guys. But it was just kind of funny how, you know, as you know, how they put it with this article. Apparently they thought that we ran out of money. We apparently we couldn't afford to sign two more players to the active roster. But you know, you only dressed like 46 players. So I mean, if we had, you know, 51 and you only dress 46, there's still five guys that, you know, aren't dressing anyway. So I don't know really what the whole big deal was. But it just goes to show you, it's like, you know, back in the day, like up to 1956, they only had 33 guys, right, that they dressed, 33 guys, right? I mean, it's the same amount of guys on the football field. You got a punter, you got a kicker, you know, right? You got 11 guys on offense. It wasn't like back in 1956, there was only 4 guys on offense and 5 guys on defense. No, there's 11 and 11. Back then, only 33 guys. So you had guys like, I mean, like, you know, Norm Van Brocklin, Hall of Fame quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles in 1960 when they won their championship game. They won the championship season, 1960. Norm Van Brocklin, Hall of Fame quarterback. He was their punter. Yeah, I mean, so you got guys going both ways. I mean, you know, like Dick Butkus for the Bears, Hall of Fame middle linebacker. You know, got drafted in 1965. But he played on all the special teams. He loved, if he was on like the punt coverage, he loved tackling people. He was on punt return. He loved blocking people, kickoff return. He loved that stuff. So you got guys like going both ways. You got Hall of Famers out there playing everything. Chuck Bednarik in 1960, the 1960, the NFL championship game. The Eagles played the Packers in 1960. Chuck Bednarik was the middle linebacker and the center. He played almost every snap, the whole game. And after 1956 and 1957, they were allowed to have a 35-man roster. And then once 1959 rolled around, they jumped it up to 36. So 1959, they had 36 guys on the sideline. And then once finally in 1964, they brought it up to you gotta have 40 guys. But it just goes to show you what a difference. You go back, it's like 60 years or whatever. But they only had 33 guys on the sideline, compared to 46 now. But anyway, in this article, some of it's just kind of funny. I said I'll leave a link. You can check it out. They were going over it, and they were talking about how the Giants only had 51 on the active roster instead of 53. And one guy came up and says the Giants ran out of cap space for players, and they're going to have to give some reps to the medium Pepsi on special teams. That's too freaking much. The fan appreciation medium Pepsi, I guess. I don't know. And another guy comes here, and you can check this. This is funny. Another guy, there's 2 players agreed to sign for the Pepsi. But then they found out it was 1 Pepsi per roster, so they bailed. How was fan appreciation? You got a medium Pepsi, but it was only like one medium Pepsi for a fan. If you're season ticket holders for your family, whatever, there's only one person who can get a free medium Pepsi or something. What a freaking joke! Absolute joke. But anyway, you can check this article out. But it's just kind of funny. There's a lot of things Dave Gettleman did. The first thing first was right off the bat was his draft, the first draft, 2018. Now, can Saquon Barkley be a Hall of Famer? Absolutely, man. If he didn't get hurt, if he's on the right system, if he got good offensive line and all that, heck yeah, we had over 2,000 yards on the Giants his rookie season. He had over 90 receptions, 1,400 receiving, 1,400 rushing yards. He was special, really special. Then of course he got hurt. It is what it is. But could he have been Hall of Famer? Sure. But if you gotta fix the offensive line, you don't fix the offensive line by drafting a running back. If there's a guard there who projects to go in the top 5 or 6 or whatever, that's a clue. All right. You don't usually have guards in the top 5, 4, 5, or 6 or something like that. That kind of means the guy's kind of special. And when you got to try to rebuild your offensive line, wouldn't you rather have a possible Hall of Fame guard instead of a possible Hall of Fame running back? Mistake number 1. How much better would the offensive line be if we had Quentin Nelson? You know what I'm saying? We took Saquon Barkley. Mistake number 1. Then, of course, they wanted to draft Daniel Jones, right? Then, the pick number 6, you took Daniel Jones. Now, also with Saquon Barkley, you could have drafted a quarterback then too, if you to try to replace, Eli Manning when his time was done. Of course, if anybody listened to Ben McAdoo, we would have had Patrick Mahomes when he came out, but nobody wanted to listen to him. But anyway, 2018, we could have Josh Allen. We could also have Sam Darnold too, because he got picked right after Saquon Barkley. So, we could have made a mistake there. But I'm saying, but you need to fix the offensive line. If there's a guard there and he's projected to go in the top 5, you take the guard. Oh my God. As I said, Daniel Jones, we took him with pick number 6, right? The jury's still out on him. And not only that, right? But the new coach and the GM come in and they may not even want him. I mean, so you just took pick number 6, and this might be his last year regardless anyway. But I mean, the new GM. I mean, if the new GM and coach come in and you got Patrick Mahomes there, they're not like, we don't want this guy. Get rid of him. We'll get somebody else in. No, they're keeping Patrick Mahomes, right? But it's Daniel Jones that they're kind of like, I don't know. You know, he's got some good points, but I mean, so you don't even know. I mean, so it's still. The jury's still out on Daniel Jones. Then, of course, you got the big one. You traded 3 picks to go up and get DeAndre Baker. I mean, you know. I mean, did you know he was going to get in trouble with the law or whatever? You know, no. But I mean, guys dozing off in meetings and stuff like that, and you wound up letting him go. I mean, the first round pick, just after 1 year, he's gone. I mean, another mistake right there. You traded a 3rd rounder to draft Sam Beal. Guy had at least one bad shoulder. It was 2 or 1, but he had a bad shoulder like in college. The second day of practice, I think he landed on his shoulder. He was out, and then obviously he's been out pretty much ever since. I mean, 3rd round pick right there. Instead of drafting Kadarius Toney, you know, I mean, we get Kadarius Toney, and we have another pick number 7. So, gotta keep that in mind. But I mean, instead of taking Kadarius Toney, right? You got Kenny Golladay, right? You had Sterling Shepard. You just brought Kyle Rudolph in. You got Evan Ingram. You got Saquon Barkley. So you got some weapons. If you still need to fix the offensive line, you could have gotten Rashawn Slater. You could have got Vera-Tucker. You could have got Darius Slayton. All 3 of those guys had very good rookie season. Very good rookie seasons. They would have helped immensely. If you could have Andrew Thomas and one of those other guys, like maybe at the other tackle, you had your 2 tackles, you'd be good. You know, I mean, instead of taking the shiny object, Kadarius Toney, who doesn't seem like he wants to play football because it seems like he's injured all the time. I mean, you could, another one of your chances. You could have helped the offensive line. I mean, I don't, it was under the impression that their offensive line is just absolutely fine, and as we see, it's not. And it's not even so much that guys get injured. I get that, you know what I mean? But, and I know it's a lot easier said than done. Just go ahead and fix the offensive line. Just go ahead, and, it's not that easy. I get it. But, I mean, you want to have an offensive line, but then you want to have some good quality depth behind it, too. We had nothing. The offensive line is just suspect, and there's like no quality depth behind it. I mean, nothing. I mean, it's almost like a revolving door. One of the things was he ran us out of cap space. This year, right? Because you saw going to the last game, we had $279,000 worth of cap space. We have no cap space next year either. We don't have enough cap space to sign our rookies, right? No, one of the things with the final 6 games of the season, when we went in and we had after Daniel Jones got hurt, and we had Glennon and Jake Fromm in there, right? And then we had Brian Lewerke as a backup in the last game. But one of the biggest things he did was he didn't wind up signing Colt McCoy. Now, 2020 for the Giants, Colt McCoy won 1 game, he lost 1 game. But he went in, he managed, he didn't lose the game for us. He completed over 60% of his passes. He had 1 touchdown. He had 1 interception. His quarterback rating was a 75. But we went on the road in Seattle and we won. He gave us an opportunity to win. Now, I said at the end of the season, we were 4-7. We still had a shot at possibly, maybe making the playoffs. If we could have won a few games, maybe things might have turned. Probably not, but right. I mean, Colt McCoy this year he completed. This with the Cardinals, different organization, different offensive, and all. I get all of that, but I mean, it just goes to show you, he completed almost 75% of his passes. You ain't getting Mike Glennon complete 75% of his passes. I don't care. If Mike Glennon is quarterbacking the Giants and you're going up against a bunch of kindergartners, Mike Glennon ain't completing 75% of his passes. Right? Colt McCoy, for the Cardinals, he won 2 games this year. He lost 1. His quarterback rating is over 100. He had 3 touchdown passes. He had 1 interception. As I said, he completed almost 75% of his passes. So, right? you let him go. I mean, because Daniel Jones gets hurt. Why did we keep Colt McCoy? Instead we had Jake Fromm and Mike Lennon. They're combined. There were no wins and 6 losses. They had 5 touchdown passes and they had 13 interceptions. 13 interceptions in 6 games. They completed 51% of their passes and their quarterback ratings of 44. I mean, huge mistake. And then, as I said, then we wind up having the, one of the first things he said he was going to wind up doing was fixing the offensive line. As soon as he could get the hog mollies in there. So one of the first things he does, he cuts Bobby Hart. As soon as he comes in late 2017, Bobby Hart didn't want to, or beginning 2008, whatever it was. Bobby Hart, the last game of 2017, Bobby Hart, I think, was injured and he didn't want to play. I think it seemed like maybe he had a bad attitude or something or whatever it was. So that might have been why Gettleman let him go. But then Bobby Hart goes and plays the next 3 seasons with the Bengals. He plays almost every game with the Bengals. He's not playing at a high rate, but, they let him go. But, he wasn't good enough for the Giants, but he can go and play every game for the next 3 seasons pretty much with the Bengals. So he lets him go. So we're going to go fix the offensive line. So what's he doing the next 4 years? I mean, between the injury reserve, the injured list, the guys that got pulled up off the practice squad that maybe suited up for, the guys we drafted and the guys we traded for and the drafted free agents and all that. He came out like 32 guys he came up with, and our offensive line still stinks. Let me raffle some of these names off to you here. All right, we got Ben Bredesen, Corey Cunningham, Jonathan Harrison, Will Hernandez, Wes Martin, Billy Price, Matt Skura, Nate Solder, Andrew Thomas, Kyle Murphy, Matt Parrott, Nick Gates, Shane Lemieux, Cameron Fleming, Chad Slade, Kevin Zeitler, our best offensive lineman, and we just let him go. Why? Because we had to sign some other guys. We have problems with the offensive line. Let's let our best offensive lineman go, and we'll sign other guys. Okay, good. Kevin Zeitler. Then you got Nate Wozniak. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Ted Larson, Evan Brown, John Halapio, right? Remember Pio, right? Spencer Pulley, Mike Remmers, Eric Smith, George Asafo Ajay. Drafted him in the 7th round. Yeah, there you go. Victor Salako, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Chad Wheeler. We've had Jamin Brown, Eric Flowers, John Greco, Patrick Omame. I always pronounce his name wrong. Patrick Omame. Nick Becton. Isaiah Wilson. There's 32 guys that we've had come in and go, and all. Guys coming off the practice squad, we drafted, traded for. We had a draft. We had a trade for Ben Bredesen and Chris, Billy Price. I know, because we had the injuries. I get that and all that, right? But so we need to fix the offensive line. So what's he do? Three of his first 2 drafts, we have 16 picks. He takes 2 offensive line. He takes Will Hernandez, who's just been kind of going downhill. Will Hernandez has been a stud this year. He's been an Ironman this year. So. Hasn't always had the best of games, but he's been in there, right? So he's played. So you got to give him some credit there. But in the first 2 draft picks, we need to fix the offensive line. So he drafts Will Hernandez and he drafts George Asafo Ajay in the 7th round, right? First and second draft. First 2 drafts, he drafts those 2 guys. That's it. And then in the 4th draft, he drafts nobody. So basically, out of the first, the second, and the 4th drafts we have 22 picks. He takes 2 offensive linemen. One's a 7th rounder. I mean, how are you going to frickin' fix an offensive line like that? Then, of course, in the 3rd, he takes Andrew Thomas, who is our left tackle for the next 10 years. Pencil him in, baby. Good pick, gentlemen. But then you got Matt Parrott, who was very, and then you got Shane Lemieux. I mean, did he really fix the offensive line? 32 guys that just raffled off. We have Andrew Thomas. We got a bunch of maybes, and we have no quality backup. I mean, my God, Gettleman, what a frickin' joke! Thank goodness he's gone. And it's going to be really interesting to see because we have no draft. We got a lot of draft picks. We have no cap space, so it's going to be interesting to see what the new GM and coach do, because they're going to have to start getting rid of some guys just to be able to start signing maybe some free agents next year and some of these draft picks. Going to be interesting to see. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much. Taking time out of your day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there. Go Giants!